Most people live outside the fence. Most people don't get to come into a military base. It's almost like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. This is an opportunity to give the public a view inside.
So let's not waste any time. Hello and thank you so much for joining me. I'm Erin Miller. And for the next 30 minutes, I'm giving you an inside look at Navy operations that you may have never seen before. And there are so many incredible stories to tell that I don't want to be stuck behind this desk. So come along with me as I take you inside submarines, ships, and helicopters. You will even see me try my hand at water survival training. And that is just the beginning. There are so many important stories to tell. And no matter where you live in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, you're touched by the Navy in some way, shape, or form. So I want to start out with how many of our sailors prepare for deployment and leave their family and friends behind for months at a time. You've seen the images of sailors deployed, heard the sounds from the flight deck. But before an underway can happen, sailors need to gear up.
The pinnacle of success once you get to these colors.
Oh, so this is kind of like where you want to be shopping one day.
Of course.
I spent the morning with Denon Scott walking around the Navy Exchange, which is basically like a big shopping mall for military members.
This will be my type of insignia.
Scott is from Portsmouth and joined the Navy when he was 18.
Hometown kid, that's what they call me at work.
As an aviation ordnanceman, work for Scott means storing, servicing, inspecting, and handling weapons and ammunition, which can be taxing on his uniform. I wanted to know what he and other sailors buy most at the NEX.
A lot of things that people run through is boots, oh, and more boots, okay? I'm on a carrier, so steel toe is always gonna be, the go-to.
Another go-to, what is all of this stuff? Or should I say requirement, is this duffel bag.
This is a sea bag.
Everything that sailors need for deployment, which is typically about 6 months, must fit inside.
So let's get it started.
Blouses, coveralls, trousers, PT gear, parka, fleeces, medications, and more.
Next is just socks. Make sure your socks are black.
All packed up.
You do that,
and ready to go.
You're ready to roll.
Packing for deployment is one thing, but Scott says what he's gained from his 2 underways is another.
I've met so many amazing people, lifelong friends, I'd like to say, that I probably would have never even came across had I not joined. You ready?
Yeah, wait, let me pick it up. He probably also wouldn't have come across a local journalist asking him to share the ins and outs of getting ready for deployment. But alas, here we are.
She's ready.
I'm ready to go.
Ready to go. Anchors away, right?
Anchors away. Well, saying you're in the Navy can mean a lot of different things. As you just heard from Denon Scott, you can be an aviation ordnanceman. You can also be a pilot or a chef. The possibilities really are endless. So I want to give you an in-depth look at what it takes to work on a submarine and just how extensive that training can be. What glides below the surface is built differently. The machinery and the people.
Our main asset, you don't know we're there.
No sun, no windows, no outside communication. That's life on a submarine for months at a time.
Submarining, it's a lot of work. The guys, you get really good at what you do, but there's a lot of sacrifice that goes with that.
The sacrifice of being away from family and risking your life.
It's about 2 to 5 minutes before things get really out of hand.
This is Petty Officer Drexton Mackenzie Chavez. He's showing me inside of the damage control wet trainer. In layman's terms, this simulates what would happen if there was a break in the submarine.
They get hands-on experience in combating flooding before ever seeing it for the first time in the fleet, which is where the situation is a lot more dire and the consequences are a lot more grave.
Fire is also a threat on board. Petty Officer Chavez says dryer fires are the most common. For protection, sailors wear fire-retardant uniforms and oxygen bottles are spread throughout the submarine.
The bottle on board Navy submarines runs you about 4 or 5 minutes of fresh air. You can extend that or shorten it depending on your breathing techniques that you're using.
Helm, right 15 degrees rudder, steady course east.
Fine-tuning techniques is critical.
Come right.
So the Navy has a simulator for everything.
It's almost like driving a fishing boat.
This one is to practice steering and operating the ship's systems.
It takes a lot of time, proficiency to master these skills.
Which I definitely did not do during my test run.
We'll make a depth change down to 300 feet.
my gosh, I feel like I'm underwater. And after feeling like I was underwater, it was time to actually go underwater inside the USS Albany. For security reasons, we had to leave our cameras and phones on dry dock.
Here we go.
But the Navy's public affairs officers captured this for us.
There aren't very many seats in here.
Lieutenant Robert LaFuse, an information warfare officer, was also our tour guide.
And if there's anything that's a particular threat to a carrier strike group, we remove it or set it up so the carrier can remove it themselves.
There will be 9 people in here.
He showed us the berthing quarters where sailors sleep and even where the torpedo missiles are stored. The Los Angeles-class attack submarine is undergoing maintenance now to stay mission ready. Now that we've come up for air, we need to talk about something that flies, or rather hovers, above the water. The landing craft air cushions are a crucial piece of our Navy, and they're located right in Virginia Beach. Come along with me to JEB Little Creek Fort Story for a view that very few will ever get. Welcome to the future.
I mean, it's a 90-foot hovercraft. You know, it's nothing like I've ever seen before.
Like nothing you've ever seen.
Everybody ready?
It's a landing craft air cushion. LCAC, as those in the Navy call it.
Because we push about 1 million cubic inches of air a minute down into that bag.
In the blink of an eye, causing the craft to hover about 2 to 4 inches above ground.
As a navigator, I plan the mission.
ETC James Weber, who navigates the LCAC, tells me what it's like when that happens.
When we come on cushion, like I was saying, when you get thrown up in the air, that is such a weightless feeling.
Which is shocking, considering when it's fully loaded with people, weapon systems, and equipment, the LCAC weighs more than 180 tons. That's some 360,000 pounds.
We can take 60 tons, throw it on deck, and we throw it 7 feet in the air like it's nothing, and then we cruise at 35.
From land to sea in a sweeping motion, I was given the opportunity to ride in the control center while this was happening. It was unlike anything I've ever done before. When the craft master isn't flying around curious journalists, they, along with the 4 other crew members, are transporting critical items for the Marine Air Ground Task Force.
And we were part of the Afghanistan pullout, so all the Marine equipment that was on the ship, we ended up bringing that to shore to help them assist with that pullout.
Like, how unique is this experience to be able to be here and come on here?
So it's very unique. If you think about in the Hampton Roads area, I'm one of, we'll say, 50 navigators in this area that are qualified to do my job.
Weber says training includes 2 schools, 7 to 8 months of training, and then live flights.
We get trusted with so much responsibility. The captain says, yeah, you're good to take this multi-million-dollar craft and go fly it out on that bay or go fly across the world. Because once we leave that well deck, it's only us 5.
Reinforcing the importance of trust with your fellow sailors and the amphibious equipment.
It's surreal because you gain a real respect for flying these things.
As you heard during the story with the LCAC, sailors and Marines often work together. Still ahead, I'll take you aboard the USS Gunston Hall to share how it transports the LCAC's troops and sailors all around the world. And serving through symphony. From the ship, I stepped into band practice to see how the Navy's Fleet Forces Band entertains sailors, veterans, and fans around the world. Welcome back to this special report, News 3's Salute to Sailors. Before the break, I shared how hovercraft are part of the Navy but transport Marines. Now I'll take you aboard the USS Gunston Hall, whose main mission is to carry those LCACs and Marines while supporting the Amphibious Ready Group. All aboard the USS Gunston Hall.
Welcome aboard. We operate as a support platform for other ships that have aircraft.
Reaching over 600 feet long, it's the 4th ship of the Whidbey Island class. And if you're not in the Navy, you likely wouldn't find yourself on the flight deck. But here I am, in a uniform.
We have two landing spots.
Getting the lowdown about how the Gunston Hall supports the rest of the Amphibious Ready group.
If we were doing an air-centric ship-to-shore movement, oftentimes those 22s would come to our ship, land on our flight deck, and a complement of Marines would embark those aircraft where they would be flown off and delivered ashore.
Transporting Marines and their equipment across the world. We're here on the boat deck right now, and this area looks much different when the ship is underway. In fact, when it was deployed earlier in 2022, this whole area was filled with Marine vehicles all the way through that truck tunnel. And just below where I was standing is where up to 4 landing craft air cushions can be stored. LCACs take the Marines and their weapons from the well deck onto shore. Remember when I got a first-hand look from the command control center of one? While we talk a lot about the ship's operations,
this is the bridge of USS Gunston Hall.
It's hard to get much work done on an empty stomach.
As long as I've been here, everyone loves my food.
Carl Angelo Adam is a culinary specialist 2nd class, the chef responsible for keeping sailors sustained.
We always have 2 different entrees, so like we could have oxtail and something else that would complement the meal. With oxtail, like for starches, we would have like rice or another healthy option, which would be like fish.
Using ingredients and local vendors when they're stationed all across the world.
It's all delicious. That's one cool thing that we do get to experience-wise, like as to like how different countries prepared their food. Being in Europe, like we get different types of butter. Like I've had like German butter before, and it's like really good.
A treat for his taste buds and his life experience that he wouldn't have gotten had he not joined the Navy.
I actually really like my job. I'm probably one of the few people that chose to do their specific job.
And when you like your job, it makes it easier to go to work. And there are so many career options in the Navy, by the way, from a culinary specialist, as you just heard, to a musical ambassador. I sat in on the Fleet Forces band practice as they get ready to perform at ceremonies and events around the country. Serving through symphony.
I think everyone would agree that we feel incredibly fortunate to be able to do what we do. Somewhere along the line we encountered somebody that knew about this opportunity to actually serve our country in the military as musicians.
The trombones and saxophones replacing the more traditional military gear.
Everybody, let me hear how you doing today?
Whenever the leapfrog skydivers or the Blue Angels will visit a town, oftentimes we'll accompany them and play concerts.
I haven't heard any of the bands before, so it was a lot of fun, yeah.
They don't just play in the United States. The tunes take them around the world.
We try to pick repertoire that's appropriate for entertaining sailors, because we do that, but we also pick music where we can honor veterans. We play a lot of patriotic music to honor our veterans.
I'm not sure why.
1, 2. It's as simple as that.
But they gave me a drumstick to try out the tunes. Let's just say I'll be leaving the music to the professionals and those aspiring to join. It's not just the military classics either.
2, 3.
Sometimes it's a little rock and roll.
And it's just getting more and more competitive. You know, every music school across the country is cranking out amazing musicians, so we put a lot of care and effort into our work. I love getting to do this. I mean, I get to play the guitar for thousands of people in situations I probably never would otherwise have the opportunity to.
Yeah. I'm Erin Miller, and I'm in a pool, but I'm doing it with the Navy for a specific reason. I'll tell you why coming up. And after that, it's time to lift off. Why being part of a squadron is unlike any part of the Navy that we've seen so far. A lot of attention has been on the USS Gerald R. Ford recently. It's a first in-class aircraft carrier and the first designed in over 40 years. While it was in port at Naval Station Norfolk, I got a tour of the carrier. Scott Vanderham Jr. was my guide for the day. We started in the hangar bay where equipment was either undergoing maintenance or being stored. Then we walked through the ship, which felt like a giant maze to me. Some of the passageways were much smaller than I anticipated. You see me trying to descend down a set of ladders there. We also got an inside look at the berthing quarters. This is where sailors sleep in triple bunk beds. We're told sailors can bring pictures to hang in their bunk and also mattress toppers to cushion what's provided to them. And folks, keep in mind, there are some 4,000 sailors aboard this ship, so I learned there are several gyms on board and even convenience stores.
I'd say probably some of the things I wasn't expecting would definitely be the convenience stores. I knew that we ate. I didn't know that we could, have a Navy cash card and actually pay for that on the ship while we're out to sea and get myself some chips or a drink.
And speaking of food, here's a look at one of 2 galleys on board. It wasn't being used at the moment, but the galley is kind of like the kitchen area where the crew can sit and eat, and they said the food is pretty tasty too. Well, something else I learned while spending all of this time with the Navy is that before they let you do anything, you have to go through a lot of training. The Department of Defense wants to know that its sailors and pilots know how to survive if something does happen. So they go through aviation water survival training. Can you believe that they also let me do that too? Watch to see if I can stay afloat. In life, it's not always about what happens. It's about how you prepare and respond. Just ask anyone in the military.
We just try and go over is tons and tons of repetition, muscle memory, and just giving them the greatest chance of getting out of any type of mishap that they might enter.
Come on up to the side, please.
This is aviation water survival training.
Imagine that there's burning fuel up on the surface. Make a hole.
It gives anyone who gets inside an aircraft the skills they need to save their own lives.
Remember what we talked about in class.
They start small, sitting through classroom training.
Down and back, go.
And swimming without gear.
Take a deep breath and float.
Making sure that people are comfortable, familiar, and have the ability of water confidence before basically taking them into what we call the dunker.
The dunker simulates a sinking aircraft, a very real possibility while underway.
We will take some of the students through and give them blinders so they can't see as well. We'll give them different scenarios where you can't go out the window that's right next to you. You have to go across, open different windows.
Preparing them for various aircraft and waters.
The one thing that is extremely difficult to get past is the cold water. It takes the breath right out of you, and even when you get up to the surface, cold water can start to deteriorate your useful dexterity.
3, 2, 1, ditch.
Every sailor and Marine goes through this training.
Their initial training's down in Pensacola. They go to their squadrons, wherever it may be.
Ditch.
And then they refresh those skills at the closest facility like this.
To fully understand, I suited up. Flight suit, boots, and helmet.
There we go.
That's Thomas Almaraz.
Remember, don't flutter kick.
He spent 10 years active duty as a diver and was our instructor for the day.
Scroop, go!
First exercise, swim the length of the pool.
When you're wearing a lot of heavy gear, it's a lot more difficult to swim or tread water or to operate your gear.
When I say go, you will push off the side of the pool, and for 2 minutes, you will stay afloat. And go! Nice and relaxed. However comfortable you are, either treading or drown proofing. At the end of 2 minutes, I will blow my whistle, and it's time to inflate your life preserver. She did great. We have people that come through that fail this course, and you went through no problem at all.
I now understand how to save my own life, but my experience just scratches the surface of what our Navy really goes through. After the exercise, we stood by as sailors simulated landing in the water with a parachute and being lifted back onto an aircraft. Life and death skills to protect the Navy's most valuable asset, its people. It was such a wild and humbling experience, especially since I'm not even in the military. But because I went through aviation water survival training, I was able then to take the next step and take a ride in an MH-60 Sierra as pilots clocked flight hours. Some people are called to the cockpit.
I grew up wanting to be a pilot. That was kind of the dream job.
fashioned for the flight line.
I think it's the most interesting job in the world.
John Bice, call sign Brother, is the operations officer at Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron 11. HSC 11 has about 25 pilots, and they're who you want to see if you're in trouble. The squadron does search and rescue, combat support, medical evacuations, and disaster relief.
The fact that our primary mission is rescuing people is pretty motivating. I enjoy the fact that, people get to go home and see their families at the end of the day because we do our job.
And the job isn't easy. That goes for the pilots who are flying to the maintainers who are getting the aircraft ready for flight.
They take a lot of pride in their job because they know the person who's going to go fly it, and then we take a lot of pride in our job because we know the guys who are going to fix it.
You can see that it is a rainy, cold, overcast day here at Naval Station Norfolk, but days like this are just as important to stay mission ready for training purposes as a bright sunny day is.
From a training perspective, days like this are actually really good for us in that I can take a crew out who doesn't get a lot of instrument time, and then we go get into the weather, can't see the ground, and we're just flying off instruments for a couple hours.
To help the pilots get some training hours in, I went up for a flight alongside my colleague David Agadello. A bird's eye view over Hampton Roads. Talk about seeing Navy operations from a different perspective. In between the training and maintenance, you'll also find camaraderie.
For every pilot, when they have their last flight in a command, the other pilots will just fill buckets of water, pour water on them, champagne, anything like that.
A glimpse that it's more than just high stress and deployments, and that the people are the Navy's most valuable asset.
It's the people. It is absolutely what makes this job worthwhile.
While we have covered a lot in our special so far, there's one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and that's sailors' mental health. Far too many individuals have died by suicide, so the Department of Defense is taking steps to try to make a change. Legislation has passed, and there are new bills in the works focused specifically on giving military members more access to mental health services and protecting their confidentiality if they do need help as much as possible.
We have a number of services, counseling services, stress management programs, all across the board. It's really, incumbent on that sailor to raise their hand when they need help, though. The bottom line is, we want to retain sailors, and if you're not happy doing this job, there's ways to get to that job.
If you or someone that you know is in need of mental health services, call 988. You can get help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before we round out our Salute to Sailors coverage, I need to give a salute to my colleague David Agadello. These stories would not and could not have been done without him. He's the photojournalist behind the camera, carrying the gear and bringing the pieces to life. He also puts up with me, so he kind of gets double kudos for that. Here are just a few pictures and videos that we took while on assignment, so a big thank you to David. And thank you to everyone who has been watching and played a role in this special report. It was truly an honor being selected for the Sailor for a Day program and to share what's happening at our local Navy bases. I'm Erin Miller, and I'll see you next time.